It's 5:30, so let's call to order this meeting for Monday, March 3rd. Jordan, would you start us off with the roll call?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Fauberg.
Present.
Liebelt.
Present.
Ward.
Present.
Johnson. Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Norvstrup.
Present.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business here tonight will be to approve this week's agendas. We've all been provided a packet. I'd take a motion from someone on the council.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ward and a second from Councilman Ryan Bold. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next is the approval of minutes from our last meeting, which took place a week ago on February 24th. I'd take a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Northrup and a second from Councilman Ward. Does anyone have any questions or anything to discuss on any of these minutes? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I didn't see anyone signed up to speak at the open forum, but it might be an apt time to mention the fact that we've got Leadership Aberdeen class here tonight. About 15 times more people than is typically here on a Monday night. So welcome to the group, guys. Glad to have you here. Next order of business is our consent calendar, where we've got 5 items of routine city business, including a daycare license renewal, a couple of mobile home park licenses, accepting the reports from the Keole Libraries Board, a new residential building contract license to be issued, and a publication for the notice of intent to purchase from our Department of Transportation's Ride Line Department. Take a motion to approve these 5 consent calendar items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion, Councilman Reinbold, second Councilman Northrup. Anyone have anything to discuss on any of these?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
since we have so many guests today, maybe it'd be fun if Jordan told us what some of these items are. For instance, the mobile home park license, why there's a fee, what does it do? Contractor license, how that works. Maybe that's a Ken question.
Sure. So daycare licensing, I'll start there since that's the first item.
Sure.
So the city inspects and issues licenses related to daycares. These are in-home daycares. The state provides licensing for state-certified facilities, but these in-home daycares have 12 or fewer kids under the age, or they can only have 2 under the age of 12 or 18 months. They inspect for fire, so the police department's involved as well for certain inspections. The planning department gets involved with fences for playground areas. Mobile home mobile home parks. We have different fees for the different sizes of parks that we have in town. The smaller parks, they're maybe across town in more residential areas, but the larger parks are kind of in different zoning classifications, and that's kind of on the fringe of what Ken deals with, so I'll let him speak to those a little bit more.
So on the mobile home parks, after they are initially approved by the Board of Zoning Adjustment, it's really just a follow-up to make sure that they're maintaining the property in a healthy manner and there's no code violations that are causing problems. Then we recommend approval on the license renewals. The daycares, the part of that licensing process is they also have to go through a zoning approval to make sure that they're operating in the proper location throughout town and that the house meets all building codes. And that's what we really do with those. And then I see on there we've also got a residential building contractor license. Those go through our department. They pass a test and they provide their insurance information, and there's some continuing education that we administer for that as well.
And I would just close it up by pointing out that we have a publication on there for Rideline. Of course, we're a government, so everything we do is open and transparent. We publish things regularly. If you look at the legal section, it's primarily us and other governments that are saying what we do to give entities an opportunity to be informed, to provide input, and help us in doing what we do by participating in the governmental process. So that's pretty much a summary of what we have on the consent agenda, and staff would recommend approval as presented.
Thank you.
Good suggestion, Councilman Fulberg. Appreciate that explanation, you two guys. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, we've got our old business segment of the meeting. First item on our old business is the second reading and approval of an ordinance 250202, which petitions to rezone from R3 to C2, 616 Rock Street, which is located south of Legends Liquor. Last week we talked a little bit about this property. It is a shed directly south of the Legends Liquor Store, and those guys are looking to tear it down and expand their parking lot. In order to do that, they'll need to join the two lots together and rezone. So that is what we're paving the way for those guys to do. Passed without exception last week. Could I get a motion to approve this second and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Liebelt. Second, Councilman Reinbold. Any questions or final comments on this second reading?
Mr. Mayor, that 622 is a holding pond, right?
Further south.
Yep.
That's correct.
The last lot on the block is the holding pond.
Oh. There's an unoccupied lot directly south of this. That's just a private lot.
So there's the parking lot, then there's a house which has been converted to storage. And then this would be the lot between that and the holding pond. There was a house there and they tore it down last year, I believe.
Okay. And that was acquired after that big flood in 2007.
Right.
Accommodate the use of more flood waters. So Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote then, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we've got a second reading of an approval of ordinance 250203, which amends our zoning regulations for the city code regarding variances and zoning ordinance. This one also approved its first reading without any naysayers. And I had asked Ken to walk through a little bit about this one and the next one, just to clarify kind of what we've been up to in our city hall in terms of revisiting some of these ordinances and making them a little bit more applicable to the day-to-day operations.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a redo or a cleanup of Chapter 60 in zoning ordinance. Section 257 lists the powers and duties of the Board of Zoning Adjustment, along with an enumeration of conditions that must be satisfied in order to grant a variance from the zoning ordinance. This amendment aims to simplify the language in this section and remove the list of necessary conditions for authorizing a variance from Section 257, and it has been reworked and more clearly stated in a new section, 60-198 of City Code. This new section defines the authority and purpose of the Board of Zoning Adjustment as it relates to variances. It also emphasizes that the burden of proof for a consideration of a variance lies with the applicant, and it authorizes the board to impose additional requirements, conditions, and safeguards when a variance is authorized. The Board of Adjustment and the Planning Commission reviewed this request or this proposed ordinance and recommend approval. And if you have any questions on the specifics, we can address those as well.
Thank you, Ken. The overall purpose being to make it a little bit more clearly defined and making that process with the zoning board of variance a little bit easier and making their decision-making a little bit more clear-cut.
That's correct.
All right, I take a motion for the second reading.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ward and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Any discussion before we take the final vote on this one? All right, Jordan?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Next, it's really similar, second reading of an ordinance. It is the final possible approval of 250204, which amends the zoning regulation of the city code regarding the authority of the zoning board of adjustment to determine special exceptions. Much of that description that Ken had run through with us remains the same for this. Anything special to point out in particular, Ken?
A special exception is a little different item. It's a list of specified items in every zoning district that can be approved by the zoning board, and they can take into account the neighborhood and apply conditions for the use of that property to make sure that it's fitting for that zoning district. This goes through and clarifies a lot of that language, simplifies the conditions for approval, and it allows the applicants to address those concerns a little clearer with the board. Planning Commission and has reviewed this and recommends approval, as does city staff.
Thank you for that, Ken.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ward and a second from Councilman Ronayne. Any questions or comments before we take a second vote on this one? Jordan?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Fourth item in our old business is the second reading of a ordinance which will rezone properties from R2 and R4 to C1. This property is located at 2816 Milwaukee Avenue, just west of Mike Miller Elementary School, and it will be used for a financial services office in a vacant lot, which was zoned originally to be used for residential. So it looks like a pretty good spot, high traffic. We all thought that was going to be a pretty decent idea, and the zoning board has already approved it. So I would take a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion Reinbold, second Ward. Any discussion before we take a vote on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
could we ask Ken to clarify what can be built in here, or what kind of business could be in here in the future if say, 20 years down the road, this building changed purposes or hands?
Sure. So the neighborhood commercial district is a unique zoning district. It allows for commercial uses in and adjacent to residential zoning districts. Everything that can be permitted on these properties has to go through a planning commission review where they have to look at the property layout, the type of use, signage, every little detail of the property. And they have to determine that it's a viable business for this area. The other thing about this district is every use has to be approved. So I think we touched on this last week, but if they decide to move on to a new location, that property has to be reapproved for any use going forward. So it can't be, a bar one week and a casino the next week and a gas station. Every use has to meet the inspector or the approval of the planning commission.
Thanks.
All right, any further questions? Thanks for that clarification. Jordan?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we've got a second reading and possible approval of an ordinance 250206, which petitions to rezone from industrial to municipal. This is property at 2 North Main Street as well as 115 and 119 Railroad Avenues southeast, which are Brown County Courthouse gravel parking lots. Ken?
We have had no changes since last week. This will bring these into the property zoning designation with the adjacent properties that belong to the county as well.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilman Ward. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Ward,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. The final item of old business tonight is a second and possible approval of ordinance 250207, which rezones from C3 as well as R4 to municipal property at 124 First Street South. This property is located directly north of Wells Fargo. It is where our 911 call center and some other county service offices are. And Ken, it's pretty much exactly the same criteria as the previous one, county building. They had it incorrectly zoned. They're looking to rectify that and make it into municipal.
That's correct.
Okay, take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Councilwoman Fulbert, second, Councilman Reinbold. Any discussion before we take the votes? Jordan?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to our new business, we've got a possible approval of a resolution. This will designate certifying officer to execute documents necessary to secure state swarms grant money for our WINS water project. Robin, looking at getting about $2 million this year.
Last year we got 5 million. There's not as much additional funding to go around now, so they capped it at 2 million for this year. We'll gladly take it and put it to use on the WINS project, just like we did last year. And so we'll need to sign the documentation and ask for your approval of that.
I'll move it.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Ward. Any questions as it relates to accepting this funding? All right. Do we need to take a roll call vote on this one? All right, Jordan, would you give us a roll call?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we've got a possible approval of a request to purchase a new pavement router dust control with clutch from Craftco Incorporated through our Sourcewell agreement in the amount of $21,125, as well as to authorize that payment. Transportation Director Rich Krokel is here to tell us a little bit about that vehicle.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is going to give us another tool to use at the airport to correctly do crack sealing. Currently, what we're doing is pulling an air compressor behind a pickup, blowing the crack, and then applying the crack seal. So it doesn't really get the sealant down into the crack. What this machine will do is it carves a dovetail joint, and as it's carving that joint, it also vacuums up the concrete and the dust, creating a nice clean bevel shape, so that when we put that crack seal in, it should stay for years. We had budgeted up to $30,000 for this and found actually the exact machine we were looking for through Sourcewell, amount of $21,125, and staff recommends approval of this.
Move to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilwoman Fulbert. Anyone have any questions for Rich on this purchase?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just Googled it. It looks pretty interesting.
It's a nice tool.
But I was actually curious about how do you guys get training on how to use these things, or you just figure it out?
We got it figured out already. We've watched enough contractors actually do this,
Okay.
so we're comfortable with it.
If not, there's always YouTube.
I want to try.
There you go.
Come on up.
It looks like you're frosting a cake, kind of.
I'm Googling it now.
Jordan, have you got something to contribute?
Mayor, I would just add that Sourcewell is a collaborative purchasing group that allows cities and governments to purchase things collectively. We have certain limits that we have to use when we buy things. So if something's over like $50,000, we have to go out to bid. So this allows us to buy something that's basically been pre-bid for us, and we can basically look at a list from this entity called Sourcewell and buy it without having to necessarily go through the steps of advertising and bidding. So it's convenient for us. It allows us to do our jobs a little quicker and get the stuff that we need at a very affordable price. That's all I have to add, Mayor.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. Would you give us a roll call vote on making that purchase?
Councilmember Norvstrup. Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. The final item of new business here to discuss tonight is a possible approval of a request to approve our airport lease number 75, which is our airline operation agreement for a 4-year carrier services lease with SkyWest Airlines, as well as to authorize Robin to execute that agreement after Ron looks it over. What can you tell us about this agreement, Rich?
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So, yeah, Ron and I sat down together and basically kind of wordsmithed the previous agreement with some changes in fees and services. But we presented this to the airport board on February 6th. They approved of it. Notably, what's different on this lease is it's a 4-year lease. Our last lease was a 3-year lease, and previously they were all 2-year leases. So this will be SkyWest flying into and out of Aberdeen since 2012. So they've got a nice long history with us, and airport board recommends approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ward and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Rich, does that coincide with the length of their federal agreement for funding?
Yes, it
Right.
does.
And before it had just kind of been off by a year, or their
Well,
previous
it's-
agreement had been 3 years?
Before it ever comes to us, it goes to USDOT. We don't actually participate in the bidding process. That's between the airline and USDOT.
Right.
I don't know, did I?
But in
answer your
terms of
question?
the term of the agreement, it matches that?
Yes, they did the same proposal
years.
for Bemidji.
All right, any further questions? Jordan?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Ward.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion
Thank you,
carries.
Council.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Rich. Good to see you as always. Next, we've got the review and approval of our claims and payroll. Bills, of course, this week, but the payroll is for a pay period of February 23rd through March 8th. Take a motion. Would someone care to second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Councilman Northrup and a second from Councilwoman Fauberg. Jordan, would you give us our final roll call vote of the evening?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ward.
Abstain.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Fauberg.
Aye.
Ronayne.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion carries. We do have something to cover from one of our council members before we move over to our city manager's report. So I'll kick things over to Justin. Justin?
Well, my time here on city council has come to an end. I am moving out of the Southwest District, so I can no longer serve on city council. So this was something that came about within the last 6 to 8 months, and we decided to move forward with it and build a house in the northeast part of town. So I will still be an Aberdeen resident, but don't fear, you guys are in good hands with the rest of the city council. So
Thank you very much for serving the city for that near complete term.
Almost
Justin didn't
5
mention
years.
it, but he's a couple of months away from terming out time-wise any which way. So the house was built a little quicker perhaps than he had anticipated, but we definitely have a great deal of gratitude towards you and your service and your help that you've done with everything around here. So we'll definitely miss you, Justin.
thank you.
All right. Robin, city manager's report.
Just a few quick items. We have 3 board meetings this week: Library, Parks and Rec, and Airport. Rich, I'll miss the Airport board meeting because I'm going on vacation. So I'll be gone from the 6th to the 16th. So I'll be back for the meeting on the 17th, but I will be gone for 10 days. And we did a couple, actually today, we did a couple certificates of appreciation to employees. And I'm going to goof this name up, Chief, but Nathan Wiggy? Okay. Nathan Wiggy in fire, he's got in 5 years. And Matt Olson, who looks like he's not old enough to be an officer, and he is at 20 years now for the police department. And we gave him a hard time today about it. He just has a very youthful look, and he serves with a lot of smiles every day and does a great job, and as does Nathan. So appreciate them. That's all I've got.
Well, thank you very much, Robin. Thank you, Nathan and Matt, for the years of service to the community of Aberdeen. We appreciate that immensely. So if there's nothing further from the council, I would take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Northrup. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.